Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 11 of this Baldur's Gate 3 trophy and achievement walkthrough. We just talked to Lump the Enlightened and we got the ogres on our side with the Warhorn. We can call them into battle whenever we want to. And inside the same room there are a couple of books over in the back left corner. And if you run around to the other side, there's going to be this fireplace area. Go ahead and read the book in this area too. Just as a reminder, you got to read 100 books and pieces of literature throughout the game for one of the trophies. Now if you head out here, you can grab a shovel, and we're going to use that to dig up another treasure. We have to get 5 treasures dug up in the course of one game. There is a missing poster over here that you can talk to, just talks about some missing children in the area, but what we want to do is now from here, we're going to go around the wall, and then we're going to go up this ladder on the other side. We can climb up the ladder, and then we can go over to the far back corner of this area. There's really nothing over in this area that you need to worry about. What we're mainly concerned about is going across the wooden planks all the way to the other side here. There is a kind of a difficult perception check in this area. It might take one of your party members to get it where the other ones might fail, but ultimately what you want to do is to bring in all of your party members in here. You can read the book, and if one of the people get a perception check that actually works, you're able to lift up the floorboards in that area, and there's a couple hidden things in here. So I just thought that that was worth mentioning because it's kind of an interesting hidden thing here. You can see that Karlach found it, so we'll use her to open this up.
Don't be shy.
So here's the wooden floorboards. They're highlighted for us. There's a child's drawing inside and a handwritten note. So you can go ahead and read this if you want to. This really isn't pertaining to any trophy, anything like that. I just thought that it was interesting enough to include in here as I was exploring the area because I like to find these little hidden details in the world. Nothing really else that you need to do up here. We can go ahead and head back down the other way. We'll go across these boards, then back down the ladder, and then we're going to use that shovel that we picked up to dig up the buried treasure in this area. So what you want to do is run back inside this building where Lump the Giant was, and we're going to go out the back door here. So we'll run up past this glowing green corpse, and we're going to go around here. If you get a survival check that passes, you can see the dirt mound, and you can use that shovel to dig it up. I don't know why, but I always struggle to get these chests right away, so I usually have to like run around and then come back to it just to be able to find it. But there you go, we can now open it. We'll just loot the goods inside of it, and then we'll head on out the way that we just came. So we'll run past the fireplace here, go around toward the left side, and then we can switch over to Astarion. We need his skills to pick a lock up ahead. It is kind of a difficult one, so as you run forward past this well, you'll see a giant moss-covered chest here next to this cart. Go ahead, save the game just in case you screw this up, and then we'll be able to pick the lock on this chest here. So go ahead and we will select to pick the lock. And you can see we have a skill check of 15. We do have a lot of bonuses here though, so we will roll it. We did get a 19, got lucky, and we got all of the bonuses on top of that, and we were able to successfully pick that lock. And then we can open up this chest. So inside of it is the Haste Helm, a nice little piece of equipment for us, as well as a scroll and some money and stuff. So go ahead, grab all of that, and then what we're going to do is to go into our inventory, and our monk, now he doesn't have really anything that he can use equipment-wise. We don't have any armor proficiencies, but this new helmet that we just picked up, we can actually wear. This helmet grants us momentum at the beginning of battle for 3 turns. That really just allows us to run further at the beginning of a fight, which is really nice for our mobility. And we also grab the braces of defense, and we get a +2 bonus to our armor class so long as we're not wearing any armor, and our monk doesn't wear any armor, so that is a really nice thing to equip as well. So from here, we're going to run up these stairs, and then we're going to go around toward the left side, and you can see up ahead there's some stairs and a lot of action going on, so let's go up and see what's happening.
Look what we got here! Another little birdie wanting to fly! Stop this thing! Flap those wings some more, and I'll feed you a worm. And you, Hope you got a stomach for heights.
What the hells are you doing?
What's it bloody look like? We're teaching this here pipsqueak to fly.
Let me rephrase that. Why are you doing this?
'Cause it makes me laugh.
Fun's over. Release the gnome at once.
You want this little cave lurking what's it? Find your own. He's ours!
The mark glows, but you feel nothing in response. Your illithid power is beyond reach until you rest.
Persuasion. All of you lot against one deep gnome. You should go find a better target. And here we have a skill check looking for a 15. We do have a little charisma and persuasion proficiency, but we don't really need it after all because we rolled a high enough number and we succeed.
I reckon we could do better than this run, eh? We're leaving.
What about the gnome? Ain't we supposed to bring him to...
I said we're leaving! There's plenty of sport and rich pickings out there for us! Move it! Fresh meat.
And we get an inspiration point for talking our way through that one, and we also got Karlach to approve, and now everyone on our team is able to level up. So let's go ahead and do that before we continue on. So our monk is now at level 4, we get some more health, an additional key point, and the slow fall ability. When you fall, you can use your reaction to gain resistance to falling damage. So that's kind of nice for us for our mobility. Now we get to select a feat that just gives us a nice little bonus here. We're going to go down and choose Tavern Brawler. When you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls, which means that we're now able to use our strength and our dexterity to help us out. So let's go ahead and use some strength, and we're actually able to use an elixir to really boost up our damage when we attack like that. So Tavern Brawler is great for a monk. It makes us very, very strong. Going over to Astarion, we have a level 4 rogue now. Of course, we get some more health, and we also get a new feat. So what we want to do is go down and use Defensive Duelist. When attacked while wielding a finesse weapon you're proficient with, you can use a reaction to add your proficiency bonus to your armor class, possibly causing the attack to miss. Well, we like to use daggers and short swords and things, so that's great for a finesse weapon. We're able to really make it so the enemy has a hard time trying to hit us as long as we're wielding finesse weapons like that. Now it's Lae'zel's turn. She of course gets some health and another feat. So what we're going to do is scroll way down until we get to Savage Attacker. And what that does is when making melee weapon attacks, you roll your damage dice twice and use the highest result. That's basically always using an advantage attack. So really nice for us. We'll always ensure that we get the highest damage possible because we get 2 shots at it. And now over to Karlach. She's a level 4 barbarian. She gets some more health and a feat. So we're going to scroll way down, and right next to that Savage Attacker one was a different one, and this one is called Sentinel. When an enemy within melee range attacks an ally, you can use a reaction to make a weapon attack against that enemy. Target ally must not have the Sentinel feat. You gain advantage on opportunity attacks, and when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, it can no longer move for the rest of its turn. So basically, we are a really good defensive character, and we're going to stop enemies from attacking our party members. We got to stay close, and we're able to then interrupt enemies when they try to come and attack our friends. We're going to attack them first and have really nice opportunity attacks. So all in all, some really nice feats for us, and now we can run forward and we can see that that deep gnome is still spinning around on this windmill. We're going to run around behind here, and if we run past this ladder, you'll see the release brake lever and the brake lever. Let's hit the brake lever to slow this thing down. Now that it's stopped, we're going to run outside, and we're going to go over to where that gnome is. So just run out in front of here, and he'll have stopped over toward the bottom, so let's run over and talk to him.
Cut me loose!
Free him.
Baga Kamara.
postulant thugs. Well, get on with it.
Get on with what?
You saved me, now you'll extort me. That's how this works, yes?
We'll use the monk dialogue option. To take without need is unprincipled. You owe me nothing, Gnome.
Nothing?
I'd rather know how you got caught.
My own fault, really. I should have dropped my pack and outrun those bastards. Alas. Take my pack, if you can find it. The only reason those goblins caught me was its weight. I'll travel lightly from now on.
You're a little far from home for a deep gnome.
Ignorance is alive and well, it seems. Deep gnomes aren't restricted to the Underdark, you know. I've lived in Baldur's Gate for years. I'm in search of a friend. I fear he's in trouble. See this? I gave it to him years ago before I left home. I found it around the neck of a thug in the lower city. It was speckled with blood. My friend, nowhere to be found. But I still have hope. I have reason to believe he's in the Underdark. Hopefully, I'll pick up his trail from there. I always help my friends. On that note, I bid thee farewell. If we should meet again, well, we will have met again.
Okay, well, we have now rescued the gnome. What we want to do is run around to the right here. There's going to be a door leading down to a cellar underneath the windmill, so let's go down this wooden hatch. There is a good bit to loot down in here. If you run straight ahead, you can see this wooden trunk on the ground, and on top of that is a heavy backpack. That's the thing that the gnome was carrying around that caused him to get caught. So we'll just loot all of this. Not a whole lot in there, just some camping supplies, a little bit of money and stuff. And go ahead, open the heavy chest next to it. It has the speedy light feet, a new pair of boots, and then also some money and some other things. Let's just grab all of that. The wooden trunk here doesn't have anything inside of it, so you can completely ignore that. There's nothing in the back corner either that we need to get, so all we really want to do now is to head back to this ladder and then go back up. So from here, what we're going to do is look in our inventory. Let's go over to where those boots are. They have the ability Speedy Sparks. When the wearer dashes or takes a similar action during combat, they gain 3 lightning charges and we get +1 to athletics. Unfortunately, it's medium armor and we can't wear that as a monk, so I'm just going to skip it for now. And then we're going to run over to this little gap in the wall. We do have to jump over it, but that will take us to the other side of the wall pretty quickly. And from here, what we're going to do is just make sure that all of our party members get over that little jump, and then we can proceed straight on. We're going to run over by where this giant door is, but before we go inside of it, we're going to turn to the left, and we're going to climb up here. We're going to get all the way to the top, and we're going to see this bonfire with a piece of meat and a dagger sticking out of it. Let's switch over to Astarion because he has a better sleight of hand skill, and we're going to go talk to this dagger and see what happens.
Feast fit for an ogre. You notice a peculiar dagger protruding from the tough, leathery meat.
Sleight of hand. Carefully wiggle the dagger until it slides free. Here we have a skill check looking for a 15. We do have some good bonuses. Let's roll it, and of course we succeed here.
Your cautious method pays off. The dagger glides smoothly out of the mystery meat.
Now let's open up our inventory and check that dagger out. We can see that it is called a dagger +1. It has a little bit more damage than what we're currently wielding, and we're just going to equip this onto our hand as well. And now what we're going to do is go over to the Steelforged sword. This is a short sword that we have. We're still proficient in it, and we can equip that as well. So now both of Astarion's held weapons are upgraded, so that's good for us. Now we can head back down the way that we came, and we're going to go over to that big wooden door and interact with it.
As you approach, a guttural scream and a succession of quick bangs rattle the door. someone or something is having a bit of fun.
Hello? Anybody in there?
Go away!
Of course we're going to open the door.
What the hell are you doing?
Back away slowly.
Ruined. Smash! Oh, smash you!
Well, we interrupted them in their moment of passion, and they're none too happy about it, so they're going to fight us over it. Well, what we want to do is just kind of head on in. We're going to take out the little guy on the left-hand side first, and then we're going to focus on Big Mama over there. So let's go ahead and run in and try to get some attacks in. We'll go ahead and use the Flurry of Blows topple just to hit him a little bit here. Only a 70% chance of hitting, but we do get some really good damage in, and he's down for the count. Now let's switch our attention over to the big one next to him, and we're going to just move some people in. We don't have quite enough movement to get all the way in, so we can just take some range shots, and we're going to do a little bit of damage here just by shooting from a distance. Unfortunately, we did miss on that one, so we're not able to do a whole lot here. Let's just skip the rest of Karlach's turn, moving over to Astarion. Now what we can do is we have some really good abilities to assassinate, and we're going to use that to our advantage. Let's use the sneak attack melee to run over there, and we're going to do some extra damage here, some really good damage, but because we're dual wielding, we're able to use our offhand melee attack, and we're going to attack one more time this way. And there you go, she's about half dead just from that, so we're doing really well so far. Here we have Shovel, we can move him up a little bit. He actually can attack in battle, so he's not completely useless to us, and he does have some interesting attacks. He can use normal claws to attack like a melee attack. He can turn invisible. He can also scare or frighten the enemy for a little bit. You can dismiss him, you can make him hide, or make him disengage as well, just like any of your other characters. So can't do a whole lot right now. Let's skip his turn. And now we'll move Lae'zel up a little bit, and we can use a range attack from here. So let's go ahead and just take a shot. That one did just 5 damage, not too bad, and we're going to now be attacked by the enemy. So big slam attack here does 13 damage, and then she gets really mad. That's her wrath, and now it's our turn to attack again. So Shovel can run up, and I'm just going to have him do his normal claws attack. This is just his melee attack. He'll get a little bit of damage in, just 5 for us there, and then we're going to move on over to our monk, and we'll have a little attack here. 5 damage. We'll follow that up with another unarmed strike, and we'll see what happens here. We get a little damage here, and it will bring her down to 1 HP. Now it's Karlach's turn. Let's have her run up and do just a normal main hand attack to finish the fight.
Working on a bugbear and an ogre.
Oh, I've seen worse. Gnomes can be...
This whole section was just side content. It's not related to any trophies. I just thought that it was kind of interesting and funny that it was in the game. And there is a book in here, so at least there's a reason for coming in here and killing them. Apart from the fact that we didn't want to see what their children would look like. That would be pretty gross. So when you're all done in this section, let's go ahead, run out the front door, and we can turn left and then go down the path here all the way to the end. Now ultimately you want to run down the path to the right hand side, so go ahead and do that if you want to. You can skip this next section here. All we want to do is run inside here, and there are a couple books that we can read in the next room. So there's an old key on the ground. We don't really need that or anything else in this area, so what you can do is just head on through the doorway to the right hand side, and we're going to go over here and look at this Highcliff's journal. Now remember, we already got the Highcliff's blueprint. This journal just tells you about those blueprints, so we already kind of went around that. And here is just another letter that we can read here talking about some Hell Riders. So once we go through all of this, feel free to pause it, of course, if you want to read through that, and then we'll just go over to the side, and this is that same alleyway that we were just in before. We're going to head down until we get to the well, and then we're going to go down into the well to continue on. So let's run down here to the waypoint area. Here's the well on the right hand side, and we can interact with it.
Apart from an overgrowth of moss, the well looks unremarkable.
Investigation. Peer into the well. Here we have a skill check looking for a 10. Let's go ahead and roll and see where we come up. We get an 11, -1 for intelligence. We still got the 10 we need, and we can succeed.
Dry stones line the wall. At the bottom, something gleams in the dappled light.
Climb down the bucket rope.
Better not touch the webs. I'd hate to disturb the...
When you get down here, you'll be in the Whispering Depths, and what we want to do is from the beginning area, we're going to run over toward the right side, and then we're going to stick toward the left. We'll just run around here, and then just hug that left wall as we go around. That will take you into a back room, and there's something back here that we definitely want to get. So there's more things in here. Go ahead and loot whatever you want to, but then head to the back of the room where a heavy chest is. You want to open that up and grab these Spiderstep boots. It's very important for what we're going to do next. So once you do that, go ahead, finish looting, reading through everything in this area, and then we'll head on out the way that we came. Now that we're done with all the looting, let's head back through this tunnel, and we're going to stick over toward the left side. But before we go too far, we're going to switch over to Astarion, and we're going to equip those Spiderstep boots that we just picked up. What that does is it prevents us from being enwebbed, which basically just means that we're stuck in place, and we have no movement penalty when we're running over webs. This place is overrun with spiders. There's webs everywhere. It makes navigating through here and running very difficult. So we definitely want to have those boots on so that we are not hindered at all. So once that's done, we're going to just save the game, and then we're going to head up and over toward the left side. There is going to be a rather large battle in this area, so go ahead, run through here. You can see that there are some enemies walking around. We're just outside of their range of view, but if we start to run up this way, we will get noticed and we get into a fight. So there's going to be a couple different enemies here. These are phase spiders. They can shoot some poison gunk at you and also teleport to wherever they want to in the area. Makes getting to them pretty difficult, so you're going to do a lot of ranged fighting in this battle. And one thing that you can do is if they're up on the webs, like that one spider that just jumped up there, you can actually shoot the web out from under them and they will fall and take fall damage. So that's a good way to speed things up. This battle took about 10 minutes. I don't feel like I need to show all of it. Just get through it as best as you can, and then we can continue on the way that we were going. And we're going to go over toward the back of the room. So here you can see we're enwebbed here. We're just kind of stuck, but Astarion isn't affected by this whatsoever. So we're going to run over toward the back, and then we're going to go up these ledges. And we're going to make our way over toward where the Spider Matriarch is. Now there is a trophy here that we need to pay attention to. So we're going to kind of get in place, but before we go ahead and do that boss fight, we're actually going to take a long rest. We want to get all of our health back, and we're also able to make a little bit of progress with one of the side stories, and this time we're going to be focusing on Wyll's story, and that makes progress toward his trophy.
Hellfire. She's coming.
Wyll, you've been naughty, and you know what happens when you're naughty.
Gods damn it. Anyone but her.
Just who in the nine hells are you?
Wyll, you absolute stinker. You kept me a secret? Time to let the Hellcat out of the bag. Call me Mizora. I'm Wyll's patron, the fount of his power. My pet's been unruly, and his leash needs a yank. We had a deal, Wyll. But Karlach's still breathing.
I've taken more pleasant shits than you, Mizora. And at least those can be buried after.
That's no kind of talk for a lady. By the way, Karlach, Zariel sends her regards.
You told me! Devils only! She's a tiefling! not a monster!
How precious. The little pupster's found his bark.
Clause G, Section 9. Target shall be limited to the infernal, the demonic, the heartless, and the soulless.
Karlach meets the criteria by virtue of having no heart.
I've heard enough. You're not leaving this place alive.
Kill me? I wouldn't recommend it.
I die, and Wyll turns to a lemure and gets sucked right down to the hells.
Which reminds me.
Wyll burns in the fires of Avernus. The lightning storms of Dis strike his flesh. His soul passes through each layer of the hells, gaining their essence and their torment.
That's better.
What the hells have you done?
A promise broken, a price paid. You know the terms.
Get used to the new form, pet.
There's no going back. Some magic even I can't undo.
Now, let's see how the frontiers fare without their precious blade.
Karlach, keep an eye on him, would you? I'll be keeping mine on you. Oh, and Wyll, don't forget,
Our pact still stands.
ta-ta.
Well, after that, let's go and talk to Wyll. He's right next to us.
God's damn her, straight back to the hells. Just look at me. I did what was right, and Mazora made me pay for it. I'd be hunting devils and demons, she said. Traitors and hypocrites, heartless evils of all sorts, but not Zariel's victims. Not innocent tieflings.
Warlock pacts tend to be unforgiving from what you know of them. Wyll was lucky he didn't face a more severe punishment.
What did you expect? She's a devil, hardly the paragon of honesty.
All these years. You'd think it's a lesson I'd have well learned. It's Mazora who grants me the power to conjure armor and cast eldritch blasts. Before I was infected, I could even call hell beasts and summon festering clouds. But I promise you, every thrust of my blade and every flame I sparked was for the good of the coast.
What are the terms of your pact?
I can't utter the terms or circumstances of the pact. I can tell you most all else, but the pact, I'm forbidden, unless Mazora permits it. But I'll say this. The moment I pacted myself to Mazora, I have not regretted for a heartbeat. It was my proudest deed. It was worth the sacrifice. All I can give you on that is my solemn word.
Wyll's trophy requires us to get him out of that pact, so we'll do that later. For now, let's go talk to Astarion.
There you are. I was just thinking about you, and that delicious moment we shared the other night.
The moment when you bit me?
The very same. I've had this condition for 2 centuries, but truth be told, you were my first. In all these years, I've only ever fed on beasts. Drinking the blood of thinking creatures is a different thing entirely. You were delectable. And now I can't help but wonder how the others taste.
They might not be as open to the idea as I was.
Alas. It doesn't hurt to ponder the question, though. Take Gale, for example. He strikes me as someone whose blood is rich, refined, like well-aged brandy. But the Gith? What in the hells would she taste like?
Something exotic, surely. An Amnon liqueur?
Oh. Well, that sounds very appealing. I'm almost convinced.
This is still theoretical, right?
Absolutely. A mere thought experiment. So, in the spirit of theoretical questions, if you had to take a bite from one of them, who would it be?
Are you really asking which of our companions I'd eat?
Oh, no. No. Don't be disgusting. I just mean a sip of their blood. No mastication required.
Probably will.
Interesting. I always thought he'd taste a little too sweet. Although, the more I think on it, the hungrier I get. I better go find something I can actually get my teeth into.
Good hunting.
Nothing out there will taste as good as the alternatives. But I'll make do. Sweet dreams.
Now let's head on back and talk to Karlach.
I'll be honest, soldier. I'm reeling. Wyll hardly knows me, but he chose my life over his. Been a long time since someone stuck their neck out for me like that.
He's a good man. Maybe the best of us.
You can say that again. When he was chasing me through Avernus, I thought he was just another sad merc. How wrong I was.
Now let's go talk to Gale right next to us and start working on his trophy.
Tiring business, isn't it? All this traveling and adventuring. Why don't we take a little break? Allow ourselves a few moments of rest? Gives me a chance to talk to you about something. Well, rather important.
Rather important, no less. All right, go ahead.
We've been on the road together for a while now, haven't we? Survived some perils, overcame some obstacles. Ever since you were kind enough to free me from that stone, I've seen you demonstrate remarkable guile and courage. The way you diffused the tension between Zevlor and Aradin. The way you stood in front of a crossbow to prevent a murder. The way you got Korga to release the girl. The way you got that boy out of a harpy's clutches. In short, I've grown to trust you.
That's very gratifying to hear.
The reason I make a point of saying this is that I've grown confident enough to tell you something I've yet to tell another living soul, except for my cat. You see, I have this condition. Very different from the parasite we share, but just as deadly.
What kind of condition?
The specifics are rather personal, but suffice it to say that it is a malady I've learned to live with, though not without some effort. What it comes down to is this. Every so often, I need to get my hands on a powerful magical item and absorb the weave inside.
Your illness causes you to consume raw magic? I'm going to need the details.
I can say no more on the matter. Not now, anyway. Just trust me when I say it's all of vital importance. It's been days since I last consumed an artifact, since before we were abducted. It is time. And by that I mean, it's imperative that I find and consume strands of weave at the earliest possible juncture.
Where do you suggest we find the artifacts you need?
We've already done the finding. In fact, you have one in your possession. You know for yourself how hard won such an item was, and it will be no easier when even more are required to assuage my hunger. There'll be danger involved, or great cost.
I expected as much. Don't worry, I'm happy to help.
Splendid. Bit of boldness will serve us well. As luck would have it, you're already primed to give me exactly what I need.
Give Gale a magic artifact. Whatever you decide to give him is going to be lost, so don't choose something that you really need. I'm going to choose the locket, the amulet thing all the way on the right-hand side. That's the reward that we got when we talked to Arabella's parents after freeing her from Kaga. Luckily, we don't have to give up too many of these as we go for his trophy a little bit later on.
Thank you. That hit the spot. I can feel it work. The magic, it's like a lullaby that sings to sleep the demon inside. A metaphorical demon, I haste to point out, but no less dangerous. And no less bound to wake up again to continue its ravages. Such is the nature of all monsters.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Your condition sounds unpleasant, to say the least.
Oh, it's not so bad once you get used to it. And, on the plus side, my tower in Waterdeep has never been so free of clutter. Sincerely, though, I understand I ask a lot from you with few answers in return. But in time, all will be told.
Don't mention it. I'm glad I could help.
My lord, I bow to your boundless kindness.
And now we're done talking to everyone down here. So let's go back to the main campfire area. If you see Scratch, go ahead and give him a pet if you want to. And then we're going to go over to the beds here, and we're going to actually take our rest. So we're going to do a long rest. We have to get up to 40 supplies. We are on that easiest difficulty. We're going to clean out our inventory a little bit just by choosing all these little food things. Try to save your alcohol if at all possible, because we need that for a couple trophies a little bit later on. And otherwise, we're just going to have our sleep, and we're going to jump right back to where we were, and we're going to be inside the Spider Matriarch's lair once again. So you want to break Astarion off from everyone else, so he should be running up here solo. You want to stay out of the view of the Spider Matriarch down there, just stay out of the red, and what you need to do to get the Pest Control trophy is to destroy all of these eggs before defeating the Spider Matriarch. So what we're going to do is just stay hidden and stay way out of range of the sight for the Spider Matriarch, and we're just going to shoot all of these eggs, the Phase Spider eggs, down at the bottom here. Using this range attack, we are able to do that pretty efficiently. There are going to be 6 eggs that we need to break in this upper right hand corner here. So go ahead and just shoot them all, and then what we want to do is just save the game after this. It is pretty important to do that just in case something gets screwed up. You can always just reload the save and go right back here and try again. I know that I had to do this a couple times, especially with some of the trickier spider eggs in the second grouping. So I'm just going to run back here and save the game after I shot all 6 of the eggs down in that first location. So now that we're all saved up, we're going to sneak back down the way that we came. We do not want to be anywhere near where that spider can see us, so we're going to sneak down the web. But because we have the Spiderstep boots, we're able to walk across this without getting in webbed. That's exactly why we had to put those on a little bit ago. So we don't want to be seen here. We're just going to sneak down toward the bottom part here. And when you get to the bottom, you'll notice that there's a big rock sticking out in the corner here. This is going to be your best friend because we can hide right behind it and the spider won't be able to see us. So we got here just in time, and as you can see, even though we're in the red, the spider can't see us because physically there's something blocking that sight. When she turns around, we'll have another opportunity to shoot some of the eggs here. We can only shoot 1, maybe 2 eggs at a time before she comes and patrols back around. So you definitely want to be quick about this. And then after you shoot a couple of them, just go ahead and hide again. Way better to be safe than sorry and be seen here. So always make sure that you're hiding when she comes around so that she doesn't see you. And then when she turns around, we're going to keep shooting the eggs and just keep this pattern up until all of the eggs here are destroyed. There were 6 eggs in the first group, and there are also 6 eggs in the second group here in the middle. And what I like to do is just shoot them in groups of 2 if possible. I think that gave me enough time to shoot 2, then hide from the Spider Matriarch. When she turned around, I shot 2 more, and then just repeated that cycle until they were all destroyed. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit just to get through here, but just know that you want to shoot all 6 of them before continuing on. For this last one, I did not have a good line of sight to it, so it does make me walk out a little bit, but I am able to shoot it, and that will be all 6 for group 2. Now we just have to get out of here. We're going to go back up to the top part, and we're going to save it once again, just so that we have both groups 1 and 2 locked down. We haven't been seen, we haven't been put into a fight or anything like that. Now we just have 1 more group of eggs to take out. The good news is that this one is significantly easier than the last one. In fact, we don't really have to go by that spider at all. Instead, we're going to go down in between these two rock pillars where the webs are. We're going to walk straight toward this light, and we're going to keep going until we get to the other side of this big rock. And what you'll see on the right-hand side is this big spider web blocking the path. What we're going to do is target it. We're just going to shoot an arrow straight through this thing, and that will reveal a path that allows us to go inside of it. The last group of spider eggs is kind of straight in front of us here. What we want to do is to go down this cragged rock. We can go all the way down, and then that's going to put us into a good position to shoot these spider eggs straight out from us without really being seen by any of the spiders here. So we'll stand right here at the ledge, and then we're going to start shooting the eggs. There are 5 eggs in this set, so 6 in the first one, 6 in the second, and 5 in the third set. Once you get rid of all of these, then you're good to go. So that's number 3. We'll shoot number 4. That phase spider down there is totally oblivious to what we're doing. We don't want to go down from here because we will be seen by the spiders. But if you stay up here on the ledge, we're able to get all of those taken care of without risk of being seen. Now let's head back up the cragged rock, and we're going to run through that opening in the webs, and now we're going to go regroup with our party members. So all of our health is very full, we have all of our spells back, all of those eggs are taken care of so that the Spider Matriarch cannot summon those eggs and make them hatch before the fight starts. So we're going to run up here, we're going to rejoin with our comrades, and we're going to head back down. Of course, it is a good idea to save the game once again, just because this is a boss fight. It's kind of difficult if you don't do it very well, and I did get a little bit unlucky doing some parts of it just because I was missing a lot of attacks, but there is kind of a secret to doing a lot of damage very quickly. So the first thing we're going to do is to sneak over here just like we were before, and we're going to get an advantage attack. We're going to sneak attack on the spider right away. So this is the Phase Spider Matriarch. We're going to take a shot, and that will commence the battle, and everything is surprised because we started with a sneak attack. Now we kind of get one free turn. The enemy isn't going to do anything here, and we're able to get another sneak attack in and do some extra damage here. So Astarion is doing really well starting off this fight, doing lots of damage. So here comes attack number 2 for him, and we're going to actually land a critical hit this time. So let's go ahead and hit him, and we did 13 damage off the bat here. We're doing pretty well. Well, now the enemies are no longer surprised, so they're going to start acting. They're going to start spitting some acid and all that nastiness over toward us, and what they can do is start to teleport around as well, and they're going to really just try to make our lives pretty miserable. And the problem here is that we are actually standing on some of those webs, so we're not able to really run over there very well. We are still able to do nice range attacks against them. You can also attack the web and cause them to fall down, and that's going to do some extra damage. So I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to save that for a little bit later on. I just wanted to show you kind of what the Spider Matriarch's attacks are like and everything. I don't want to end this too quickly for you, but just know that you can do some extra damage by hitting the webs while they're on it, and they'll fall down. So here's another time where I could have attacked the web. Instead, I just wanted to run forward, and of course, if I'm on the web, I'm going to really not have a whole lot of movement or anything like that. Luckily, we do still have momentum because of that helmet that we put on, so we can get some pretty good distance running, but those webs really stick us down pretty well. And here you see we're just going to take out the minions, the little phase spiders first. I think it's just a good idea to get rid of all the ads, and because we took out those eggs, we don't have a lot of little spiders running around either. So we're going to now do another attack against one of the phase spiders down here, and Astarion will show how good he is as a character, and we take out that phase spider pretty easily. Now, one thing that I really haven't shown yet is his Vampire Bite ability. What we can do is to run over to the other enemy over here, this phase spider, and we're just going to try to bite him. So we'll use that Vampire Bite, and what it will do is do some damage to the enemy, and we actually gain a little bit of health. So that's good for us. We don't want to move because then the enemy will attack us as an opportunity attack. Now it's Lae'zel's turn, and she is not able to run across webs very well, so what I'm going to do is actually jump over the web until I'm right next to the Spider Matriarch. That allows us to really close the gap here, and then I can just take a swing at it, and I will try to do just a normal main hand attack against it and see what happens. Unfortunately, it was a giant miss. That's very disappointing to me, and that's just the end of that turn. So now what we're going to do is to use Karlach. We're going to try to do some extra damage to this Phase Spider, so let's go ahead and just run a little bit closer to it. Unfortunately, we're not able to get close enough to really hit it. I thought that I could get close enough. Instead, I'm just going to run and just take a swing at the air for no apparent reason, and well, that's all I can do there. So end of that turn, we're going to be attacked once again by the Spider Matriarch, and it will now move over to the web on the bottom section here, and this is where I'm going to now try to finish off this little Phase Spider here. We can just run over here and do an attack but miss. However, I will circle back around with another unarmed strike, and we're able to take it out with a critical hit. So now both of the little Phase Spider ads are gone. Now it's just time to focus really on the Spider Matriarch itself. So let's run forward a little bit, and we're going to attack the web, and we're going to have it fall down and take a nice chunk of damage. So targeting this web causes it to disappear. The Phase Spider Matriarch will fall down and take a good chunk of damage, actually. So here you can see the spider falls. It takes 33 damage. That gives us a huge head start, and we're able to keep going. An alternative strategy to this fight is to knock the Spider Matriarch down the giant hole, that big green chasm in the middle. If you can push her down and get her to fall down, it will be an instant kill. However, you can't loot the body at that point. The armor that you get isn't that great. It really has to do with if you can do poison damage, then it will buff that a little bit. Not super important for me and what I'm doing right now, so take your pick. You can either do it or not do it. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to try to finish this fight as quickly as possible. So we'll run over. There's one unarmed strike, and now we're going to use our Flurry of Blows Topple, and that will do 2 more attacks against it, and we'll be able to do a good chunk of damage here. It's got 15 health, and now it's down to just 1 HP. Very close to taking it out, didn't quite get it there. So now we can have Astarion. We'll do a ranged attack from here. Unfortunately, we do miss this one as well, so big bummer here. I thought I could finish it, but not a big deal. And now it's Lae'zel's turn. Let's finish this with just a normal main hand attack, and the fight's over. And because we were able to beat the Spider Matriarch before it hatched any eggs, we get that Pest Control trophy. So congratulations, that was kind of a tricky one. It required a little bit of a build up there, but ultimately we were able to pull it off. And here you can see what you can loot from it. Not a whole lot of goodness, just 1 piece of armor and the silk gland. And there's also the other Phase Spiders that you can loot as well. So that's going to do it for this part. We're going to pick up right here next time in part 12. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Until then, have a good day.